Honestly, this is supposed to be the Predator. This is the badass. This is the thing kids are going to want to buy toys of. This alien is a bitch.
So without further ado, I suppose
Yeah.
we just got to talk about jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
James, why did you make me watch this movie?
Because we want to stick this on YouTube, and I was like, let's pick something that's coming out, and let's pick this crazy ass Nic Cage movie with the crazy ass trailer that made me just want to watch the movie so much.
There's no honor in killing crazy.
The movie starts. It's space. There's a thing. It's coming from space. It's coming towards a planet. We presume the planet is Earth. Then we're in a jungle, and a man is being chased by metallic things. We don't know if they're little spaceships or what, but it's jiu-jitsu, so we think maybe there's some kind of martial arts thing. And then he jumps off a cliff into the sea. So I think we're okay. We're not spoiler territory yet. Then he's kind of being held by some reason by American military people, and then people come to rescue him who are kind of like samurai types. I think they refer to them as being looking like Jedi, and then they're getting attacked by a predator.
Manager, that's what I just wanted you to get there. It's
enough, is it?
It's Predator. It's Predator
I'm
with
confused.
It's Predator with martial artists, specifically jiu-jitsu, instead of soldiers, and that's like no more to be said. It's trying to be as cool as Predator. It's trying. Yeah. Predator has had some movies that people aren't happy with, but the creature is still an amazing, cool. It's just a cool, badass design, and he's a badass creature who wrecks people. In this movie, the alien looks ridiculous, and everybody basically kills him in a fair fight, and the only reason he doesn't die is because he can regenerate. The Predator didn't get hurt. The Predator fucked everybody up until Arnie at the end. He didn't need to regenerate.
But when it's open, we get a visitor from a distant galaxy. The poet warrior in the sci-fi sense. The spaceman.
Start of the movie, this is my note I wrote down. 60 seconds in. This alien is a ninja trained in the Stormtrooper school for alien ninjas. Okay. Because he threw about 100 ninja stars and didn't hit your man until he's standing at a cliff. And he still doesn't hit your man until your man jumps. And it's just because your man jumps into one of his ninja stars that he actually hits him. I was like, what the fuck? This guy has thrown literally about 100 ninja stars and not hit him. I was like, how is this? How am I supposed to be scared of this alien if he can't hit people when he's thrown 100 ninja stars? And then I wrote a note for later in the movie where I said this ninja alien is going for quantity over quality, because later on he throws about another 100 ninja stars, and it's, of course, if you throw 100 ninja stars at about 15 soldiers, that some of them are going to hit, and he has about 3 or 4 of them actually hit soldiers out of about 100. So in this movie, this guy's thrown about, by the end of the movie, he's probably thrown about 300 ninja stars, and his hit rate must be in the 2% range.
So he ends up in custody, and he's being interrogated. And the woman says to him, "What are you doing in Burma?" And he says, "Don't you mean Myanmar?" And she says, "Very funny." And that's all they mention about that for the rest of the movie. Then like all of a sudden, she says, "Everybody out." And they haven't had a shot. They haven't had a wide shot where they showed you that there was anybody else in the room. So it's really weird and confusing. And then it cuts to one, and then everyone leaves. So again, I'm already confused by the order that things are being put in. So I don't know what's going on. What happens then? He escapes?
Yeah, well, I've some notes about this, because this was...
Yeah, go on, man. Yeah, go on.
Right. So yeah, this is when Tony Jaa, I don't know if you've ever seen Tony Jaa's martial arts movies, but he done some the Ong Bak trilogy, and they're pretty cool, man. He's like breaking everybody's legs and breaking everybody's arms, and it's cool, like. But that's his entrance scene. That's Tony Jaa. He has that one shot where he comes into the barracks and kicks the shit out of everybody, and then rescues your man. And so yeah, it should be cool, man. They try to shoot it like it's all one take. If you noticed, they try to hide the cuts.
Yeah.
And it should be a really cool moment, and I can see what they're going for. But I think it's the ramping to slow motion just kind of kills the moments, and the sound effects are terrible. There's no oomph to the hitting. You know, there's no impact to what he's doing. So that kills a little bit of it. And the gun effects are terrible. They're literally like Premiere Pro After Effects, you know, stock gun holes that are put on the walls. It's kind of crazy. But what really killed it for me was when he saved your man, and then they cut to a POV shot of your man.
Yeah.
Oh man, I was like, what is going on? This is like, I can actually give you credit for the Tony Jaa entrance. I can see that it's supposed to be cool. I just don't think your sound mixer, obviously you don't have a huge budget, even though your budget should be able to do better at gun effects than that. But when it cut to that POV shot, I was like, this is awful. This is terrible, this shot. And it goes on for about a minute. But that whole action... What?
You're skipping one thing, though, that I just want to mention before we get into the action, though, right? Because he tries to escape first, and then they capture him again.
Oh, that's right.
And then they say, let's give him the truth serum. So they didn't bother giving him the truth serum when they and then he escapes. And then this guy, when the Tony Jaa guy comes in after, right? And then he escapes. And there's the first proper action scene, right?
Yeah. And it goes on for about 15 minutes.
So if you go to a film school or something, you'll learn, or even look at a Wikipedia entry, different kind of film shots and what their kind of purpose is. So that POV shot was like to make the audience feel like him because he didn't know who he was and he was confused, I was confused. So I think is that like, would that be the purpose of why they chose to do that? Or they just thought, this is cool, let's turn it into a found footage movie for 30 seconds? What's the purpose of it?
That's a very good question. Usually a point of view shot is to put you into the eyes or mind of the character. But point of view shots don't have to literally be somebody's point of view, like you're playing a first-person shooter or computer game where you can just see the hands, you know. It can be like
see his hands.
And the punching, man, he's just punching them. Oh, it's so bad. But the purpose of it, I'm assuming it was this could be really cool, but it's not cool, and it ends that action scene on such a down note. And after that, we're introduced to the 8. It's supposed to be the 9, but we'll get to the 9th in a little bit. But it's 8 of the 9, and Frank Grillo makes an appearance. Now I know you don't watch a lot of these type of movies, but Frank Grillo was in some of the Marvel movies. He was in Warrior with Tom Hardy. He was in he's been in a couple of Netflix films. He was in one where he's driving a car. I can't remember if it's all inside of a car. It's an action movie, but he got in an interview a year ago where they said, would he be returning as the character Crossbones in the Marvel movies in the next phase? And he said he doesn't want to be involved with Marvel. He wants to do good movies. And I'm like, okay, fair enough. If this is what you want to do, you want to leave that Marvel money and Marvel, you know, behind completely for this, fair enough, man. But like, man, he's
independent cinema, you know.
He's pretty bad. But then we pretty much just go into another action scene. So we've just left this one shot, even though it's not, but this one shot into a POV shot that goes on for a good, honestly, 10 minutes, if not a little bit longer, like 12 minutes. And it does start to wane on you. You're like, okay, you know, the best action scenes are like stuff from Winter Soldier. There's a fight scene in a highway, and it's just straight to the point, really cool, and it's over. You know, and it only lasts about 2 minutes, and everybody remembers.
Or the Bourne movies where there's a lot of shaky cam, but you know who's who and why you're supposed to care about them and where they're trying to get to and stuff, right?
This is what it reminded me of, man, because I've only recently watched this movie because I was showing it to my brother. John Wick. has a cool scene in a nightclub in the first movie where he kills like 30, 40 people with headshots. That scene is awesome and cool. The music's cool, the fighting's cool, the choreography's cool, everything's cool about it. And it's still probably only 3 or 4 minutes long. The fight scene in this, the choreography's not bad by any means. It's just everything around it, like the sound effects and stuff, don't work. And then it goes on for about 12 minutes. And then they escape, and 3 minutes later, we meet these 8. The soldier, the army who had your man give him the truth serum, they show up. They show up in 2 jeeps, by the way. Right? Yet there seems to be about 30 or 40 of them when they're fighting. They just keep coming, because this action scene just keeps going and going and going, and people just keep showing up. And I kept looking at the ground. I was like, the ground has to be filled with fucking people, because each of these 8 have taken on about 5 people each, which means there must be 40 soldiers. And then it cuts to the wide shot, showing you the 2 jeeps. And I'm like, where the fuck did the 40 soldiers sit in the 2 jeeps? Like, what the fuck? There's no logic to this movie. It's ridiculous. This is when we can get to the ninth of the 9.
There's no honor in killing crazy.
Finally. I had a shower just before we did this because I needed when I wash my hair so I could possibly more resemble Nick Cage in this movie with my COVID long hair and beard. Nick Cage has been self-isolating somewhere in the Far East in Burma or Myanmar
for 6 years.
And for 6 years because he saw it coming. He saw COVID coming. And he shows up and he tells the guy that he's his father, right?
Oh, no, that's a spoiler, man. But anyway, that's a reveal. That's a reveal that happens at the 3rd act of the movie where I think he's dead at this point. That's another spoiler. Yeah, spoilers. I'll put a spoiler warning. Spoilers.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. He tells him he's him.
Yes, I know. And when he says this, I started to think, oh, is he in his mind? Is he not real? Is it like a Fight Club thing? And I even kept thinking it. When Frank Grillo and all the 8 show up, they never seem to look at Nick Cage or actually speak to him. So for a good 10 minutes, I was convinced that Nick Cage is actually not real and he's in your man's head. I swear to God, man, I was like, he's not real. This is going to be such a lame twist that he's not him or there's time travel. But I was like, none of these people seem to be talking to Nick Cage's character. But then he is real, so it doesn't matter. Like, but there was a 10-minute period where I legit thought that Nicolas Cage was.
I didn't get that at all, but I totally see why you. I totally see what you mean. That would have made sense because they seem to know him, but they don't really engage with him at all, right?
They really don't. Yeah. Every time he's talking to the main character, and everybody pretty much they don't say a line of dialogue to Nick Cage. They just talk to the main character. And they're saying stuff to him, and then Nick Cage is kind of saying something else, contradicting what they're saying. And nobody's turning to him and saying, shut up, that's wrong, or shut up. They're just ignoring him completely to the point where I'm like, he's not real. So I started thinking, this guy's a schizophrenic. Because Frank Grillo's looking at him weird and stuff. I was like, this guy's a schizophrenic. And, you know, he that's why Frank Grillo's looking at him weird and he's talking to himself. And then it turned out that he's not. And I was like, wait, what? I've just spent fucking 10 minutes going in a completely off-point direction that I thought this movie was going. And Nicolas Cage is sitting there talking about he spent the last 6 years being able to studying the art of creating hats out of newspapers.
He did, sorry. That's a real thing.
That's a real thing. And he says it takes a long time to master or something, and and then he puts one of them on.
You don't know, is he being sarcastic or what? You think he just says it and then he picks up an actual newspaper hat.
And he lifts one, and he's like, and he just slips it on his head and he sits there with it. I was like, oh my God, okay, that's the line of dialogue. Nick Cage is reading the script and he's like, oh, okay, I come in on page 30, okay. Oh, okay, oh, you're me. Oh, that's fascinating. You're me. Oh, yes. Oh, I've spent 6 years mastering the art of creating newspaper hats. That's the line. I'm in. Agent, I'm in.
Or did he suggest that to the director? I have an idea for my character. He makes hats out of newspapers.
We have to show how crazy he's gotten in the 6 years.
He's crazy. He's crazy like me.
Oh man, he says something like that, doesn't he? He does say he does say a line. Oh man, it just he's so fun to watch. He really is. I told you because you were worried about how much is he in it, and I was like, he's in it more than you think, but he's not in it loads. But he definitely is. Yeah. He was definitely on set for a few days. He wasn't just showed up on it one day and done. But when it gets to the reveal, man, I'm pretty sure. So he ends up having to fight the alien. Everybody fucking knows the alien. He fights the alien. And we'll get back to the alien, by the way, later. Remind me to get back to the alien and lose.
Yeah, sure.
But he fights the alien and he ends up losing and he dies. And then after that, I'm pretty sure it was after that the girl tells the main character that, do you not remember who he was? He was your father.
He was your father.
Man, yeah, I paused the movie. I literally paused the movie. I never, ever really laugh when I'm watching something by myself. Even if it's really funny, I'll be like, in my head, I'm like, that's really funny. Yeah. I literally busted out laughing watching it. When that reveal happened, I was sitting here by myself. If anybody was outside, they'd be like, what the fuck's going on with him in there? I was literally laughing my head off. I was like, what does this have to do with anything? What does this twist? This is not Star Wars. What does this have to do with anything? And then it shows flashback images of a guy who clearly isn't even Nicolas Cage. But yeah, man, so that reveal. But Nicolas Cage is fun in it. He's having fun. Yeah. He's not crazy over the top. He's kind of a toned down crazy, but he's still fun to watch. He still has some fun lines. And he's definitely the most fun part of the movie. Again,
he's got a genuine charisma that's kind of. I mean, I don't know much about these other guys, but a lot of them are more known for being martial artists than actors, right? He's got a kind of screen presence that is it's fun while he's there, yeah,
it's fun while he's there, man. We get to a point then where we're finally into the movie and the alien's going to start killing these 9 people. By the way, so the storyline basically is that this alien or we're not, I think it's him or is it his race? They brought jiu-jitsu to Earth. And they taught the jiu-jitsu martial art to these people so that these aliens can show up every 6 years and fight these people to see who's the best at jiu-jitsu or whatever. That's basically the plot. It's crazy. It's when they say the line, the alien brought jiu-jitsu to Earth, I was like, what? Okay. Every single fight the alien is in, he loses. If he couldn't regenerate, he loses every fight. The humans always get the first stab. They always slice him. They shoot him. They do whatever. And the only reason he's still alive is because his body can regenerate. It takes a few seconds, but it heals itself up, and then he's back at full strength. So I was like, this isn't a fair fight. You're here saying, I'm going to come and fight you all in the art of jiu-jitsu every 6 years. It's not a fair fight, though. All these people are more skilled than you. You're an alien, so you're probably stronger. You've probably more strength. And the fact that he can lift people with one hand makes me think he's physically stronger than humans. That's already an advantage. But you also can heal. So these people, like Nicolas Cage, should kill him. Nicolas Cage slices his chest straight down.
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage has won. But no, he just heals up and then he kills Nicolas Cage. And every fight is like that. Every fight is the human get the first dig in, and then he heals up and the humans are like, what the hell? And then he kills them. I was just like...
he's supposed to be a beast.
He's a bitch!
And then he only needs to use his regeneration powers later on in the movie, right? If he's using it right from the first battle, it just becomes a bit ridiculous, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, he's... Like, I don't know, did you think that, man? Like, honestly, this is supposed to be the Predator. This is the badass. This is the thing kids are going to want to buy toys of. This alien is a bitch. He loses fights. He can't hit anybody with his ninja stars. I don't know how he has 100 of them or hundreds of them, because I don't know where they come from. That's like nitpicking. Who cares where they come from? But he can't hit anybody with them.
So the alien is he's gotten kind of lazy because he doesn't have to bother to keep in training because he can just regenerate and kill these people. So he's gotten, like, you don't see it because that suit he's wearing that's holding in his punchy gut. He just sits on his fat ass, you know. He just eats burgers all day and you know, when he comes every 6 years, he comes back and I gotta kill these humans. Nicolas Cage. It's over, and he just likes to pose.
Oh my God, his face.
Yeah. What's the story with his face?
I don't know. I don't know the story with his face. It's so ridiculous. He constantly poses. It's like he does something, and then his face just lights up, and his eyes turn red, and it's like, and it's like, what the fuck is this all about? Like, I don't understand why. I don't understand what this is. What's going on?
It's like I don't play as many games anymore as you do, but I remember when you'd play Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat, there'd always be a mini cutscene where they'd be kind of boasting of how cool they were, like right after the fight.
Yeah, that's right.
It's kind of like that, isn't it?
It kind of is. It's like he does something cool, or when he's angry, or I don't know, man. It keeps cutting to it, though. It does. It keeps cutting to it, especially in the second half of the movie. It keeps cutting to his face, going, and it's like, what the fuck is this? What is this? Like, what is happening? Like, what does this have to do with anything? And what does he even look like?
Your face is a blue void, man. Like, what's going on here?
I know.
Wear the Halloween mask or something, you know?
Why even show a face? If it gets angry, why not just have the blue hue turn red or whatever? Why have a ridiculous looking face appear? Oh man, it's terrible. No man, like, here's the thing, right? They know what they're doing. I'm pretty sure they know what they're doing. So it's not like it's a terrible movie. It's like they were trying to do something epic and it turns out terrible. I hope. And I think they kind of know that what they were doing, and they knew it was a bit silly and stuff, especially Nicolas Cage with the hat stuff and all. But at the same time, it's like, it's at the same time, even though they're trying, it's still pretty bad, you know? And the ending was the kicker for me, because the ending was just terrible. The fight was one of the weakest fight scenes. The way he beats the villain was so obvious, because the character earlier in the movie tells him he takes about 6 seconds to regenerate. That's your moment to kill him.
Well, that's good screenwriting.
That's a setup and a payoff. That's a setup and a payoff.
Subtlety. There you go.
Subtlety. That's what we like.
It's gonna happen.
And then the black comedic character just pops in and out of the movie. And he shows up at the end with a couple of grenades that he finds somewhere. I can't remember where he finds them.
Yeah.
I don't care at this point. I literally, when Cage died, I just wanted the movie to end. I was like, oh my God, there's still like 30 minutes left. So fighting the alien, he's losing. And then he's on the ground and he remembers he remembers something and he gets up and he's angry and he fights back. And then he slices the alien and then he remembers the 6 second thing. And he runs up on the alien, and then the comedic character comes out with a grenade, throws it at him. He puts it in the hole before it heals. It heals with the grenade inside the alien, and the alien explodes.
Well, he's not just a stereotypical comedic black character. He gets the job done, right? He brings the firepower when it's required, and it's the hero didn't really do anything, you know.
The hero was terrible. Oh God,
he's the real hero of the movie.
Yeah, well, the hero literally ran away from the alien. That's the whole thing, by the way. The hero ran away when the alien showed up to fight. He was like, "Fuck this!" Like, what you call him, James Woods in The Exorcist in Scary Movie 2. He sees the bitch spin her head around. He's like, "Fuck this!" and he's away. That's what this guy was like. He was gone out the door.
Fuck this.
Fuck. And the alien chases him and doesn't like that he's a coward. And that's what he forgets when he has amnesia. He doesn't remember this. And then, so then the movie ends with him walking away with the girl, and the comedic character looks toward. I don't know if he looks at the camera. I think he looks at the portal, and he goes, "See you in 6 years, bitch," or something like this.
6 years, bitch. And the subtitles were nicely done. They were kind of done in colors, and they were in the middle of the screen. I thought they were nice. I like that.
I didn't have subtitles, man. Was that for when they were speaking different language? Oh, no, you're right. With the translations. Oh, you're right. Yeah, there was. Yeah, sorry. You're right, yeah.
I didn't bother to read them.
Is that your highest praise for this movie after Nicolas Cage? Well, the subtitles were nice.
I think, I mean, I obviously everybody's looking for different things from movies, right? I mean, this movie is made for people who like, I don't know, who have maybe like a lot of the experience for me watching the movie reminded me of watching someone playing a video game, right? Rather than actually playing it. When you're playing a video game, you're immersed in it and you don't want to die and whatever else. But actually just watching someone play, I find like quite boring. It's not interesting. I don't know, man. Like I said, I was kind of confused by a lot of it. It's not a very complicated plot, but stuff kept happening and scenes kept ending in ways, or suddenly there was a shot where I was going, what's happening now? Who's he? So I don't know. I mean, we watched it because we thought it would be a bit of fun to talk about on a podcast. It would have been it would have been incredibly fun if we weren't living in a COVID world to have like a couple of beers and watch this together. Like, do you know what I mean?
Man, when COVID's over next year, or even next year when things calm down, we'll have to get you down here, set up the camera, and do a couple of red letter media style things where we just watch some of these awful movies, because that would have been so much fun to watch with somebody, because I was laughing by myself.
It would have been.
So what if you had to give it something out of 1 to 10?
I don't know, 4 maybe.
I'd probably give it a 3, because average is average. 4's just under average. It's kind of still under that. Do you know what, man? This is what I'll end this segment with, is that we should watch every Nick Cage movie together, and we'll have a playlist on YouTube of us watching all the Nick Cage movies.
Man, there's quite a lot on Netflix. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, we'll just our best of the worst Nick Cage movies.
Do you know what, man? It happened by pure accident, but I agree. I think we should follow this thread, and if possible, even if we don't get to watch a movie, we should just talk about them every time. If I saw a Nick Cage movie,
maybe Nick Cage should be our rating system. How many Nick Cages do you give this movie? 10 Nick Cages out of 10.